Bonjour Anisette, hello Year 7, it's Mr. Cullerton here again with the next lesson in the series. Still talking about our family, but we've moved on now to les animaux, animals or pets. Now then, we have done a little bit of work on this, but online before, so you may well be familiar with some of the vocabulary here, but this is your first proper formal lesson from à la maison, from home. So the aim here, very simply, for the first lesson, is to be able to name some animals in French, of course. We'll start thinking about how we can ask others what they have, and then describing those animals using colours eventually. Hopefully, where you found this video, you have also found the worksheet that accompanies it. This worksheet goes alongside the video. So, listen to the video, complete the exercises when I say to do so, and submit the worksheet for marking. Right, your first task then on the sheet is to have a look at these words for animals. Here they are. I will read them out and you need to repeat each one after me to practice your pronunciation. So we've got un chat. Un chat. Notice the C and the H is a sh sound as opposed to ch, like in English. And of course, silent T. Un chat. Now in the second column on exercise 1 on your sheet, you have a space there to put your guess. What do you think un chat is in English? Now here you are thinking about common sense. You're thinking about how does this word look. All sorts of things. If you've got no idea, guess. And when we go through the answers, you can see how close you were to getting it right. So, un chat. Number 2. Répétez, repeat after me. Un cheval. Un cheval. Okay. Un chien. Un chien. Again, focusing here on the sh sound as opposed to ch. Un chien. Space there for you to put in your guess. Number 4. An hamster. An hamster. You'll notice it looks like an English word. It should be a fairly straightforward guess here, but I'm Frenching it up. An hamster. Silent H. Next, un poisson. Un poisson. Now over the years we've seen that this is a word that gets mistaken for the word poison very often because of how it's spelt. No, clearly not. It's not an animal. Poisson, it's this area right here, the O and the I together. That's oi in English, isn't it? But wa sound in French. Much like the number 3, remember? Toi, the O and an I together there. Poisson. What do you think this is? Do you know it? Can you remember from the initial work that we did a few weeks ago? 6. Un lapin. Un lapin. This one now not so obvious. Doesn't really look like anything, so let's have a little think. Un lapin. 7. There's that sound again. Look. Un oiseau. 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 That S is almost becoming like a Z. Oiseau. 8. Un cochon d'Inde. Un cochon d'Inde. Un cochon d'Inde. And number 9, last one of my blue ones. Think about why they may be in blue. Un serpent. Un serpent. Why would these 9 all be in blue? Well, just like everything else that you've discovered in French, everything has a gender. Is it masculine or is it feminine? Now in this case, these 9, because of the word un, they are of course considered masculine. So on to our final 3, our feminines. We've got une. Look at the difference. Une araignée. Tough word to say, so you take your time. Une araignée. And what could that be? Une araignée. 11. Une souris. Une souris. And 12. Une tortue. Une tortue. So, fill in the middle column on the first part of the exercise of the sheet, And now I'm going to go through the answers. So you then have to put in the final column what the actual correct answer is. It'll be interesting to see how much you have got correct. So here we go. Right, for un chat, you should have a cat. Give that a tick if you got it right. If you did or if you didn't, it doesn't matter at this stage. As long as you've got the correct answer in the final column, you're on your way. Un cheval, we have a horse. Un chien, we have a dog. Un hamster, hopefully you've all got this one, a hamster. Un poisson, a fish. Un lapin, a rabbit. Un oiseau, a bird. I think these might be a little bit mixed up from my original slide, but it's hopefully not too much of a big deal. Un serpent, a snake. And un cochon d'Inde, really random, a guinea pig. Literally, un cochon on its own, a pig, and would be India, so an Indian pig. Where they get guinea pig from, I don't know. But un cochon d'Inde, a guinea pig. So those are our masculines. I wonder how many you got correct. On to the feminines. Une araignée, a spider. Une souris, a mouse. And une tortue, a tortoise. We will also accept a turtle. Okay? Right, now just before we move on, ask yourself this. How are you going to remember each one? There's 12 new items of vocabulary there, and we need to try and remember as many as we can. So just a few handy hints and tips that you might want to make a note of. For example, these. An hamster is what it looks like. Un poisson. When you say this word, I know fish don't tend to make a noise as such, but if you're saying this word correctly, your mouth should be forming a bit of an O-type shape, which if you've ever looked at a goldfish, this would be better if you could actually see me, but you see a fish's mouth is kind of in an O shape. Lapin, rabbit. A rabbit leaps. Yeah, lapin sounds like leaping. Or, of course, if you stroke a rabbit, he usually sits on your lap, doesn't he? Oiseau. There's almost a whistle sound being made there. Oiseau. You don't have to whistle when you do it, but of course it can help. Again, un serpent, if it looks like English, it's usually the same thing. Araignée comes from the word arachnid, which is a fancy word for a spider. Arachnophobia is when you're scared of spiders. So just some little things that you can use there to help you with remembering these words. Finally, une souris. Souris. Focus on the E squeaking sound that a mouse might make. Now you don't need to do anything with this. If you've got any other techniques, then please feel free to share them in the class team. That's absolutely fine. And we will move on. Right, so your next task is écouter. It is a listening task. So on your sheet you have space there, numbers 1 to 12. I think it's in a box, where I am going to say one of the animals in French. Right, from this image right here. Now then, you have a choice. You can make this easy or you can make it difficult. It's completely up to you. You can either write the letter of the animal that I say. For example, if number 1 I said, I don't know, an hamster, you would be writing H. That's fine. You could write the animal in English, or if you want to make it more difficult, you could write this French spelling of the animal that I say. Completely up to you. Here we go. I will say each one twice. Now in class, if these were normal times, I would say it twice and that would be that. But you've got the advantage here that if you do miss one, you could always just rewind the video. So, number 1. Remember, either write the letter of the animal, write the animal in English, or write the French spelling of the animal. Number 1, I'm going to go for un poisson. Un poisson. So remember, when it's gone, it's gone. Number 2, un lapin. Un lapin. 3. Une araignée. Une araignée. 4. Une tortue. Une tortue. 5. Un chat. Un chat. Number 6. Je n'ai pas d'animal. Je n'ai pas d'animal. 7. Une souris. Une souris. 8. Un hamster. Un hamster. 9. Un serpent. Un serpent. 10. Un cochon d'Inde. Un cochon d'Inde. 11. Un oiseau. Un oiseau. Okay, now all being well, number 12, there can only be one answer, and that is un chien. Un chien. Okay, so the exercise there is done. If you've missed anything, obviously feel free to, you do have the option now of rewinding the video a little bit and go from there. Now there's no right or wrong element here. If you wrote the letter, fine. If you wrote the animal in English, fine. If you wrote the spelling in French, also fine. But here are your answers. You can self-mark again. Number 1, un poisson was, of course, E, a fish. Number 2, un lapin, of course, C, a rabbit. 3, une araignée was K, a spider. 4, une tortue was J, a turtle or a tortoise. 5, un chat was B, a cat. 6, now this was a new one, bit of a trick question. Hopefully you were awake and you figured it out. L, je n'ai pas d'animal, I do not have a pet, or I do not have an animal. 7, une souris would give you I, a mouse. 8, an hamster, H, a hamster. 9, un serpent gives you F, a snake. 10, un cochon d'Inde gives you A guinea pig. 11, un oiseau, G, a bird. And finally, last but not least, if all has gone well, you will have had un chien, D, a dog. Perfect. Okay, well done. So, moving on to the next task on our worksheet, which is here. It is a memory test. Alright, so take a couple of minutes to just look over your vocabulary, revise however you find it effective. And on the worksheet, you need to, next to the images, so the image of these animals, you need to write the animal in French. The correct use of un and une is going to be important, and you need to focus on the spelling. When you get to the French words, give the English. Okay, so it's best if you do this from memory. Give yourself a chance, look over the vocabulary and see how you do. You type those on the worksheet. Next task then is all about as-tu un animal? Do you have an animal? Do you have a pet? So I could answer that quite simply. Oui, j'ai un chien. Yes, I have a dog. Oui, j'ai un chien et deux chats. Hopefully you'll notice the colour coding here is really helping us. J'ai un chien et two chats. We add an S for plurals like in English. If you haven't got a pet, well, it's this little phrase here from the listening task. If j'ai is I have, je n'ai pas, I don't have. Now you can give some extras here with j'ai, whatever it is, qui s'appelle. Now if you've done all of the family member activities, you'll know that qui s'appelle is who is called, and here's an example. J'ai un chat qui s'appelle Frank. I've got a cat called Frank. So, on your worksheet there's a copy of this screen right now, with a text box next to it where you are looking to type in your answer to do tu as un animal. Do you have a pet? I've given you here some sentence starters. Okay, I have a whatever, he or she is called. He or she, and we've got the age, look. This is a good thing to do because you're using vocabulary from previous modules that we've covered in school to build up your writing. So you've put the number in here, and he or she is in whatever colour you want to say they are. Now you've got colours, you've done this before. Excuse me. And you've also got a fancy phrase. You know, maybe you don't have a dog, but you would like one. Je voudrais. I would like. You type that into the text box and go from there. Focus on your spelling. Use everything we've done so far to help. When that is done, there is a quick quiz for you to do, and there's space to write your answers on the worksheet. Okay, so it's just a recap of everything we've done so far. So number one is this. Which of these words right here, A, B, or C, represents a snake? Next question. I have a horse. How would you say that in French? Is it j'ai un chat, je suis un cheval, j'ai un cheval? You can either write the full sentence or you can write the correct answer, A, B, or C. Next. I have two dogs. Is it A, j'ai deux chiens, B, j'ai deux chats, or C, j'ai deux chiens? Read these sentences very, very carefully. There's a top tip. Okay. Which of these, un lapin, un tortue, un serpent, means rabbit? How would you say I have a blue fish? Is it j'ai un poisson bleu? J'ai un poisson bleu? J'ai un poisson azul? I have a green tortoise, or turtle. Is it j'ai une tortue verte? J'ai une tortue verte? Or j'ai une tortue marron? Up to you. My cats are called Bob and Ben, apparently. Is it mon chat s'appelle Bob et Ben? Is it mes chats s'appellent Bob et Ben? Just to say that should be an E rather than an A. And finally, ma chat s'appelle Bob et Ben. Which of those would be the correct answer? Okay, so this is coming towards the end of the lesson then, so think about what you've done. Can you name a few animals in French? Can you ask the question, tu as un animal? And can you describe some animals using colours? Hopefully you've managed to do that in the writing task. So if that is everything, there is a link here for you to copy and paste into your web browser to Kahoot. This link is also on your worksheet. It's a quick Kahoot quiz on family members and pets. Work through the questions and can you screenshot your final score on your worksheet. Remember to save your worksheet, then submit, upload, and we can look at your work for some feedback. Merci beaucoup, thank you very much, et au revoir.